Sahana vivatu Sahanau bhunaktu Saha viryankaravavagai Tejas Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Indriyani mano buddhihi asyadhishtana muchyate yetair vimohayatyeshaha jnanamavritya dehinam tasmatvam indriyan yadav niyamya bharatarshava papmanam prajahikhyenam jnana vijnana nashanam. The desire has its location, its adhishtanam. Where does it occur? With what help it does occur? Then, asya, kamasya, adhishtanam, the place where it occurs, is buddhihi, is your buddhi, mind, antakarana. In the beginning, before a fancy becomes a desire, a fancy goes away, doesn't turn into a desire. But the fancy transforms into a desire, gaining a certain strength, and therefore a staying power. Then influencing power, driving power. It gains all this power which is called vegam. Kama krododbhavam vegam. Even for a fancy to come, senses are important. The senses are the basic means of knowing. You need to know about the object before you desire. Whether you know rightly, wrongly, you must have some knowledge, and you should look upon it as something ishtam for you. It is good for me. And therefore, mind and senses are the basic. Senses cannot function without being backed by the mind. So the mind and senses create fancies, and the fancies become desire. All fancies don't turn into desire, but a given fancy turns into a desire. Desire has a staying power. It has the power to drive the person to do something in order to fulfill the desire. A desire is not born to go away. It is born to get fulfilled. Therefore, the attempt will be on the part of the individual to fulfill that desire. Therefore, there will be effort how to achieve the end for which is the desire, to achieve which is the desire. So how to achieve that end? The means are open. The means can be fair. Means may not be fair. That's where the individual's Atma Balam, strength of oneself, that self-strength, called Atma Balam, just to translate the Sanskrit compound. Atmanaha Balam, the basic core person's strength, the tenor. That core person is a disturbed person, then the strength one has to gather with support systems. Even prayer is a support. And therefore, this strength, Atma Balam, the strength of the will. So these are all areas of self-growth. Therefore, all these are set here. Indriyani, Manaha, Buddhihi, Asya Kamasya, Adhishtanam Uchyate. This is the Adhisthana. All these are involved in the occurrence of a desire, in the birth of a desire, and its growth also. And then, and this kamaha, once born, jnanam avritya, dharma jnanam, karya jnanam, this is to be done, this is not to be done, this is right, this is not right. This jnanam avritya, denying, covering, throwing a veil upon this knowledge in the antakarana, in the buddhi. Then vimohayati yeshaha, this desire, vimohayati, dehinam, the purusham, the person, vimohayati, it dilutes the person, makes the person go against dharma. Vimohayati. It doesn't cover the Atma Jnanam. Paramparaya we can say Atma Jnanam api. It denies. Vimohayati antakarana. Dehinam vimohayati. The Purusha, the wielder of the buddhi. the owner of the desire, the one who wants to fulfill that desire, that person vimohayati. It dilutes the person and therefore goes against dharma. Answer to the question, anichannapi, why papam charati purusha? Even though he doesn't want to do it, why he is driven to do it? This is the reason. Tasmat tvam indriyan yadav niyamya bharata rishabha papmanam prajahihyenam jnana vijnana nasanam. Therefore, here you have to live a life of discipline. That you desire is a privilege. That you have senses, that's a privilege. You have a mind, buddhi, manasa, sankalpya, buddhya, nishchitya. When you have a fancy, the antakarana, the inner thinking faculty is called mind. Then you decide, it is called buddhi. Same mind alone. Manasa sankalpya. With the mind only you entertain a fancy. Shall I have it? Buddhya nishchitya. By the buddhi you make a decision. Then buddhi takes care of you. I mean the decision takes care of you. In terms of the desire. It has to be fulfilled. To follow dharma, you require space, inner space. Certain impulses may be there, tendencies may be there to take advantage of a situation. This is what we say, cutting corners. So one can cut corner or corners or one can go diagonally against dharma. What one doesn't want others do to one, one does the same thing. What others should not do, one does that. To others. In the process, others get hurt. One also is basically hurt. But the pressure of the desire, one succumbs to. Therefore, adharma. There is no such thing adharma otherwise. One is not able to conform to dharma purely because of the pressure released by a given desire and one's own background. There may be a number of reasons for that. There can be a background and which may give us a psychological reason or environment. So one has grown up in a certain environment. So that also influences the person. Reason may be many. But the fact is, one is not able to conform to dharma, which requires lot of leisure, inner leisure. Then you can choose. There may be options in the means within the dharma itself. Then you can choose what you want. not going against dharma at the cost of others' happiness. I don't want to fulfill this desire. It's not worth that. That one has to see. If one doesn't see, that person is deluded by the desire itself. Don't blame the desire. The person backs up the desire. And therefore, a person gives a handle to these desires to be taken for a ride. Themselves don't have a power. They cannot take you for a ride. And they take you for a ride because we have handled. That is where you require help. And so, that's why he says, Tasmat Tvam Indriyani Adau Niyamya. When you feel like doing what is not to be done, then stop. You want to say something, already the word is formed in the mind, and it is transferred to the tongue, and you are going to say, and then you swallow. What did you swallow? Some words that I wanted to say, I swallowed. You swallow the words. That is called the being on top of those words spoken. Niyamya. Having a say over what you say. Niyamya. Tasmat tvam indriyani adau niyamya. He Arjuna, Bharata Rishabha, Papmanam prajahi, yenam papmanam prajahi. Because it is jnana vijnana nasanam. Jnana, therefore, this jnana vijnana nasanam, that which destroys the pursuit of knowledge, that which denies you the pursuit of knowledge, and any insight you gain, it stands as an obstacle to convert it into assimilated knowledge called vijnana. There are no two types of knowledge. There is only knowledge. Unassimilated, not yet assimilated. In the process of assimilating, knowledge is gained in the process of assimilation. That knowledge is not allowed to transform itself into assimilated knowledge, vijnanam. We add a prefix to jnanam. So vijnanam, vishesha jnanam, assimilated knowledge. Then only we call it knowledge. And therefore, jnana vijnana nasanam. So jnana vijnanasya nasanam, that which destroys this papmanam, yenam papmanam prajahi. This deluded ahankara, first you have to initiate the discipline with some help. The discipline of doing what is to be done. Then afterwards, this Papma, this Papa Atma, or Papa Karmas, you have to, this way you have to eliminate this Papa Karmas, wrong actions. Then it seems to be very easy when it is said. Said is always easier than done. So sometimes doing is easier than saying it also. I see both. Certain things you can't say. If I ask you, please describe what is sweet. You can give a piece of candy, a sugar candy, sugar crystal. Give that fellow, please taste. That is the sweet. You understand now? You can easily do something to convey what is sweet. But describe. In fact, do you know what? What can be conveyed is only the ultimate truth. Baki sab you cannot convey. Your love you cannot communicate. What is compassion you cannot communicate. Only action you can communicate. You can't describe with words what is compassion. What is love? Many a good relationship is broken because of one cannot prove that one has got love. Do you really have love for me? Yes, I have. Then why it doesn't come out? You always come out with some frown. Especially when I ask you some serious question, there is only frown. That fellow is so allergic to various things. He has permanent sneezing. He goes on sneezing. And this fellow asks questions. And every time the other is asking questions. The significant other. And when the other is asking questions, that is then he is preparing for his sneezing. And that sneezing comes only at that time. And it doesn't easily come also. When it doesn't come easily, you know the face muscles undergo a lot of contortions. And before that, so many. You see, previously I didn't have any problem having a camera and all that. But now there is a big camera is sitting there, so I can't do all my antics here. So you cannot convey, you can't communicate anything, really color. You communicate what is green. Green is the color of the leaf. Which leaf? Green leaf. This is buck up. So what are you talking? If it is green leaf, if I know green, then it's you need not talk about. You please describe green. You know a leaf, how does it look? How does it look? It looks green. I want to know what is green. Pujya. What is sight? What is hearing? One sentence you can say. If I ask one more question, you are dumb. Only thing you can communicate is the ultimate truth. The common thinking is that it cannot be communicated. That is the only thing you can communicate because it is already you. It is self-evident. I have to knock off all the notions. And what is becomes daylight. And it has no parts. And therefore, one part is not always hidden. There is no part. That is the truth. It should come as a shock. But the truth is like that. We are used to this kind of saying, you can't describe truth. Yeah, you can't describe truth. You can communicate. How will you communicate with words? I don't need to communicate. But with words, I can negate all your notions. Because all these notions have their own basis and which is wrong. I can point out the fallacies of all of our thinking with reference to what is the truth. If it happens to be you. Therefore, Jahi Shatrum Mahabaho Tasmat Tvam Indriyan Yadav Niyamya Bharata Rishabha Papmanam Prajahi Yenam Jnana Vijnana Nasana. What is this truth? Indriyani Paranyahuhu Indriyebhyah Paramanaha. You repeat these verses. Indriyani Paranyahuhu Indriyebhyah Paramanaha Manasastu Para Buddhihi Yo Buddhev Paratastu Saha Evam Buddhev Param Buddhva Samstabhyatmanam Atmana Jahishatrum Mahabaho Kamarupam Durasatam. Here is a process of inquiry. There is only one person who can be referred by the word I. Correct? There is no second person. Even though we say I, we, there is no we. That is language. It is the language of the people who have this universal mistake. If you analyze the reality of the situation, I have my five senses, and what I see is an object. In the object, I don't have eye sense. Any object. And so, from the stars, black holes, inferred object. or directly perceived object. An object is related to me, the subject. And the subject is referred by the word I. First person, singular. It's I. Then everything else that I objectify is not I. Your body I objectify, not I for me. My body you objectify, not I for you. Here, this not I for me also. I objectify. As well as you objectify, perhaps more intimately. And therefore, we only objectify what can be objectified. Therefore, whatever I objectify is not I. That includes my body, my mind, senses. All these I objectify. And therefore, not I. We are safely saying not I because later we will find this not I also is not separate from I. That we will find out later. There you understand the orders of reality. You need to understand. What is aham? In the current understanding, before one has conducted this inquiry and inquiry thoroughly, one takes what is objectified as a very significant component of the self-identity, I. In that, body is a part of it. Senses are a part of it. The mind is a part of it. Buddhi, all memories, all these are a part of this self-identity. Your past is a part of it. Your age is a part of it. Your health is a part of it. It's all self-identity. Then parentage. That's all with reference to others. Just with reference to yourself, these body, mind, senses are a part of self-identity. But these components, every one of them, is available for objectification. What is the self is the inquiry. I will say, what is not objectified, what is not subject to objectification, that which is present in every objectification is the self. Indriyartaha, all the sense objects are centered on the senses, centered in the sense, without those senses, one cannot recognize them. One has no knowledge of them. Therefore, indriyani parani ahuhu shastrajnaha or Upanishadaha. The Upanishads tell, because Krishna cannot quote another person if he is avatara. In fact, Vyasa presents Krishna as Ishvara. Indriyani paranyahuhu indriyartebhyaha. From the standpoint of the objects, indriyas are the subject. They are paraniyahu, superior in the sense, without whom they cannot be seen. They cannot be experienced. Indriyani paranyahu. But these senses also depend upon the mind. Without the backing of the mind, eyes are no eyes, ears are no ears. The mind has to be there behind. And the senses themselves are objectified. Andhya mandhya patutveshu netra dharmeshu ekada pashyet manaha. The mind oversees the senses. The mind is able to objectify the condition of the eyes. They are sharp, 20 by 20. They are 6 by 6. They are dull. They are blind. The person is able to see all the conditions. That the mind is able to see all of them is also objectified by buddhi, the karta. Indriyani paranyahuhu indriyebhah param manaha manasastu para buddhihi yo buddhev paratastu saha. Buddhihi can be taken as karta, the subject, to whom this result of perception resolves, in whom it resolves. And one who decides that, oh, this is an apple, this is orange, this is not orange, this is tangerine. The one who makes that decision, that is the buddhi, aham buddhi. Yo buddhehe paraha. The one who is above the buddhi, even the subject which is changing, which is not a constant, which is subject to change. If there is a change, you need to objectify the changes, centered on that subject itself. And one who is the drik, the witness of all these changes, that which cannot be witnessed, saksheva natu drishyate. Yo buddhehe paraha tu saha. Yo buddhehe parataha tu saha. One tu is there. Unlike everything else, because the seer becomes seen. One thing is always a seer. Aluptadrik doesn't undergo any change. It is not within time. Change means now it is there this way, now it is in this way. That is time bound. And that is therefore known. And that is witnessed. And the witness is not witness. Self-revealing. And that is Saha. That is called Paramatma. That is the one that is understood as the reality of everything. Even the things that we objectified and therefore they are not me, like this we have negated by a process of inquiry. We have to take back. While I am free from all of them, both the subject and object are not free from me. Therefore, I am the whole. This is how you have to get out of this hold of kama, desire, which has its origin in the self-ignorance. That I am the whole is not understood. And therefore, evam buddhef param buddhva samstabhyatmanam atmana jahishatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. Says, param buddhva, buddhva, knowing, without any doubt, knowing, means no more ignorant of this fact. What is that? In this manner, param buddhva, buddhehe param buddhva. That which is above this aham buddhi, above this ahankara, that which is never witnessed, which is self-evident and lights up everything, which is buddhehe param, buddhva, being no more ignorant of it, and thus atmanam atmana samstabhya, atmana, by one's own knowledge, and atmanam, the self, real. What is the ultimate self? The ultimate, all this, we are using these kind of words only provisionally, because there seems to be some kind of an inquiry process, and levels are there. Honestly, Atma is the self that is enough. What is self-evident? And that is staying knowledge. That knowledge is not wavering, not fraught with vagueness and doubt. Atmanam atmana samstabhya. The conclusion is, Jahi Shatrum Mahabaho Kamarupam Durasadam. This difficult to dismiss this binding desires. Kamarupam, who has been playing the role of a villain in the drama. It's only a drama. In the drama of one's life. So, Jahi Shatrum, Jnanene Shatrum, Jahi. There is no real Shatru, enemy. But there is an as though enemy. And you find it's all shadows. But these shadows, until they are understood as shadows, they rule the roost. Therefore, Jahi Shatrum, Jahi Prajahi, Handatu, destroy, Jahi Shatrum, Mahabaho, O mighty armed Arjuna, Kamarupam Durasadam. He is the Shatru for you. You cannot remove that person because he is born of, this Kama is born of ignorance. Therefore, by knowledge alone it goes. You need not do anything really. Until the doubts all go, keep the flame of inquiry going. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Karma Yogo Nama Tritiyodhyayaha. Like the second chapter, the third chapter also has got a title. The title is Karma. All about karma. Yoga here is connection, sangati. Karma is the topic. Maybe karma yoga is the topic, but there is a lot of discussion on karma itself. Yoga here, karma yogo nama, that name, karma, that is the topic. On karma, there is a topic. Yoga is the topic. The topic is set by the word yoga. Yogaha means sangati. In what connection this discussion? What is the topic of discussion? In common parlance, we use the word enna sangati. What connection? Very common. In India, it's so common. What sangati? Topic. Karma is the topic. In the Bhagavad Gita, the third chapter, whose topic is karma, is samaptaha, is complete. In the Bhagavad Gita, which is like Upanishad, the subject matter is Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidyayam. It's not only Brahma Vidya, Yoga Shastre. It's a Shastra talking about Karma Yoga and other disciplines also come under Yoga Shastra. Yoga Shastre, Brahma Vidyayam, Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade, in the dialogue between a teacher and a student, which is called Samvada. between equals, if there is a discussion to find out a certain truth about a topic, that is called vada. If there is a fanatic who is engaged in a conversation, dialogue with another fanatic, it is endless it is. And that is what we call jalpa. That is jalpa. There is one more fellow who argues with you. There is also a dialogue. What kind of dialogue? Called vidanda. What is vidandam? You say something. He raises the hand. What? I don't agree with you. Why? Because you said it. Anything you say is wrong. This is called vidanda. These two, among the four, the last two are to be avoided. The first two are healthy. When you learn from a teacher, then that is called samvadaha. When there is a dialogue, that dialogue is called samvadaha. This is Krishna-Arjuna samvada. Krishna-Arjuna-yoho samvadaha. Guru-Shishya-yoho. Between the teacher and the student, that is the student is Arjuna here, and the teacher is Krishna there. Therefore, Krishna-Arjuna-yoho samvadaha. A dialogue implying teaching. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.